All right. Welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm Adam Smith with Just the Tips Coaching. And with me today is a repeat guest, a really cool colleague of mine from literally thousands of miles away, Kevin Boudreaux. I feel like I'm introducing a basketball player, right?
I need my rip-off pants. Come
Oh,
in,
that would be so cool. Do you
that
remember
would be.
Do you remember the really kitschy Nick Nolte movie Blue Chips?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Shaq's character was actually Boudreaux,
It was
not
close, yeah.
Boudreaux, something like that. So yeah, that's probably what's giving me either flashbacks or I don't know exactly what we'll call it at this point. How the hell are you, Kevin?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's another
Dodging a hurricane or two,
yeah.
and dealing with no electricity like the Bronze Age. But hey, it's that's the bad part about living in Florida sometimes. But 98% of the year it's beautiful, it's hot. We can go to the
Hot,
beach.
humid.
I can relax. I mean,
It's
so I'll
it's
take the bad with the good.
nope. You didn't sell me on Florida with that. No. No, I'll take my high desert any day of the week. Although we woke up to snow today for the first time, which was interesting. And peeking out the windows, I can still see a little bit on rooftops and treetops and those kinds of things. But in the grand scheme of technology, of course, we have this wonderful ability. And maybe we'll talk tech today, since we really only came up with a handful of ideas of what to shoot the shit about. And they were really more in jest than what we would really talk about. Um, but our datacom provider, our internet provider at my office, is having an outage. So I'm able to get through some work this morning, and then it just boots me out, right? Because we don't really keep data on our computers, right? We've got to have some security. So everybody just remotes into the office, into their computer at the office, and then the computers at the office are tied to the server, and the server is secure that way. And yeah, so now we've got an internet outage at the office, so everything comes to a grinding halt, basically, which is it's like having our own little mini hurricane for half a day that is going to keep us in the dark ages, as it
So
were.
what do you do with blizzards? Because a little bit of snow is different than a blizzard, and
Oh yeah. Well, and I don't think it's necessarily related to the snowfall.
okay.
And I can't say that there's any consistency to major snowstorms and datacom outages. But all right, I'm going to keep this really secret. So this is just between you and me now, right? We really don't have a whole lot of snow in Denver. Now, the world thinks we do. Every now and then we'll get like a nationally televised football game where it's snowing and people think we're buried, but we're in the high desert. And it's dry, it's arid, humidity levels typically rival that of like Phoenix and Vegas, and they only have humidity because the groundwater is evaporating, right? So 15% might be a humid day in Denver.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so our snowiest months are actually March and April, and by then, of course, it's getting warm. It's been so dry. Our winters are so dry that it melts right away. It evaporates right away. It's already warm. So we could get a 3, 4, 5 foot snowstorm in March, and you wouldn't even know it 48 hours later. It's
It's
not like
not
being in
bad.
the
Just enough to play in and have fun.
yeah,
The kids skip school for a day and have some
yeah.
fun, and then they're
Throw
back
out you
back to
could
work.
you throw out your back shoveling it. Yeah, exactly. It's just a little bit of fun, right? So yeah, it's actually kind of a unique environment that way. But yeah, winters in Denver are dry, mild. We don't really have winter until we roll into March and April. So, but yeah, spring is our big time for snow. Now, being in the mountains, totally different. And you and I obviously have some colleagues that have done that over the years. Tony Scarpero comes to mind, and yeah, they got about a foot of snow out of this storm. right? I mean, my sidewalk's just wet. There's not really a lot of snow. They probably got about a foot of snow out of this storm, and they'll have snow on the ground until May. So big difference because of the altitude that way. But yeah, let's talk more about Florida. And
Okay.
let's talk more about Kevin's hobby farm. No, I'm kidding. But how is Peppermint really?
She's good. She never wants to come back inside. She's gone to the farm life, and I try to kind of get her to come inside. I open the gate for her, leave everyone else in the back, and she's like, no, she will not leave the farm. She's found her happy place, and
All right.
so now I don't have a house pig anymore.
Okay. Maybe there's like a Charlotte's Web thing going on.
Maybe.
You should go
I thought
look
she was
and see.
pregnant. I thought she was pregnant, maybe, but I think she's just fat and lazy some days. Because one day she would not get up for like
Guilty.
like 6 hours, and she always comes running for food. And I was like, so I went, petted her, played with
Guilty.
her, loved on her, and I was like, maybe she's pregnant because her belly was just getting huge. It like waddles when she walks, like it almost touches the ground like a lowrider.
Guilty.
But I don't, I
She
don't
just
know.
fat and lazy. Did she think you're fattening her up?
She
We
likes
we
food.
we
I mean,
did
all my
joke quite a
animals,
bit about some pork recipes.
yeah.
Let's
Those kind of pigs don't taste good. My wife's Cuban. We love pork. We eat pork all the time, but not those kind of pigs don't taste very good. So they're just pets,
all
just
right.
mouths to feed.
Mouths to feed. I know that story. We have a handful of mammals running around the house as we speak. But let's talk about some shit that might actually be of some value to our audience. We should probably do that. But if you guys do want to know about having pigs, having a hobby farm, pork recipes, other Cuban recipes, reach out to Kevin by all means. He would be absolutely happy to share that stuff with you. And Kevin also happens to be one of the most astute mortgage originators in the country and certainly one of the most astute in all of Florida. So I do think that there might actually be some content that we could provide our audience that would be along those lines. But man, have we had an interesting year. It's probably been about a year since we had you on the show.
I think a lot has
And
changed in that one
and a
year, man.
lot has changed. And some of it subtle dramatic, which I thought was really weird, like the interest rates dropping like a rock. What was that, like August 1 to October 1, with this huge dump in mortgage rates, big numbers out of the mortgage-backed securities market. And of course, we all expected it. Hey, here's what's going to happen. We knew the rates were going to continue to come back down. The pendulum is swinging the other way. Nope. Fuck all of you. That was just a tease. Almost back to where we were to begin with prior to that date, right about where we were prior to that date. We're kind of looking at what we did over the summer, which is wild.
Like, no, I've seen this before. I got fucking deja vu for the
Oh,
fourth time in the last 3 years, man.
oh, and it's like the PTSD that a lot of people have from certain triggers that lead them into that. If you're a mortgage originator, you probably had a little PTSD, a little tongue tied this morning, from what has gone on with mortgage rates over the last. Well, where did we peak? I think it was October 21 was the actual peak in, I don't know, whatever. We're talking about a decade or more. So yeah, we're pushing well beyond a year now of rates
I would
being
say this year my
volatile.
business has completely changed.
What does that
The first
mean?
couple of years of higher rates, I didn't really feel the effects as much as a lot of my colleagues. I was doing a lot of clean files. Now I am like DCR, working with small builders. They can't sell it. We're putting in their portfolio, no ratio, private money. Like I am like that guy that gets the dirty shit done. And in 21 years, it's like the
Wow.
first time I really played in this market. So it's good and bad, but my recommendation to anyone is like, whatever puts food on your plate, make sure you have the different products you need. I'm now not a direct lender. When I was on the call last time, I was still with my previous company. We're a broker and a correspondent lender, and we have access to pretty much anything. So, um, I'm just that guy you call instead of just, hey, Kevin does that vanilla stuff really good. Kevin will find a way to make it happen so he can get paid, kind of loan officer
Okay.
right now. He's
Got
going to
it.
figure out a solution.
That's funny. I can't remember how long it's been, maybe a week or so, but I was asked to give a couple of interviews for Mortgage Professional America magazine. And they sent me some leading questions. And of course, Adam doesn't know how to stay on topic. So that went sideways quickly. But they sent me the rough draft, I guess, for lack of a better term, of the first article today. And I don't know that I really remember saying it, but yeah, I talked about what loan originators need to be doing today in order to make sure that they are, in fact, doing some business, keeping their volume up, keeping their numbers up, keeping their units up, and how to do that in a manner that's going to really satisfy some gaps in what goes on in the mortgage space. We talked a lot about DSR. We talked a lot about I-10. I've got to assume that there's a even greater Latinx population that's being underserved in Florida than in Colorado. And we do have a big Latinx population. I think the Denver metro area is like 20%. So that was a big one. We talked a lot about HECM. So yeah, if you're still trying to crank out loan originator business, and shit, Kevin, I think that there aren't that many, right? We talk about the fact that 60% failed to renew their federal license this year.
Would love to see the numbers after December because
After
I have a
this
feeling
year,
we're going to be at about 25% total from 3 years ago, which that's the only thing that gets me through the day, Adam. Sometimes, like honestly, this business right now is like you want to beat your head against the wall some days, and then other days it's beautiful and I make a funny video, it comes out awesome or whatever, or you get that $2 million past client that you haven't talked to in a while, but you've done their mortgages, 10 years ago, and they want to buy a beach house. Okay, cool. That gets you through the day. But what was I saying? I got off. Totally went off. I was about to say something
but
important
yeah,
too.
so I do think that we're going to see another mass exodus, and they've probably already left. We just won't know it until the renewal numbers come out next year. Well, at the beginning of the year. But yeah, I think that that's a big deal. Much smaller pie, but much bigger pieces. I mean, and how many people actually came into the loan origination business in 2024? 5, 6,
Maybe
7,
seven.
seven
You count
people
them on two
total,
hands for
coast to
sure.
coast. Yeah, nobody wants to do this job, and that will be proof positive at the end of the year when we see how many more didn't go through the continuing education, the renewals, the whatever it is that you have to do on a state by state basis. Obviously, we all have the same federal regulations, and there are a few different ones as it varies state to state. But yeah, smaller pie, bigger pieces. There's this contrast, and it is a dramatic contrast. Let's talk about 2021, right? Very lucrative. We wrote a literal fuck ton of loans, right? But you may as well
My
have just
favorite number. That's my favorite number. I want
the
to do it
literal
again.
fuck ton. Okay. Well, yes and no. Yeah, I may as well have just given you a headset and stuck you at the drive-through and told you to ask, would you like fries with that? So it was the exact same loan over and over and over. There was no creativity to it. There was no putting your best skills to use. There was no way for you to really exhibit that Kevin MF Boudreaux really is that MF, that he's a badass, that he knows how
I
to solve
agree.
problems.
I do agree.
It was redundant shit. The only benefit was the money.
Yeah. Can we
Okay.
get a happy medium though, somewhere in between,
Totally.
like busy
No,
enough, but also
no,
creative and
no,
fun?
no.
No.
Absolutely. You're talking about the American economy. No. It's just a bunch of pendulums that swing back and forth.
We never meet in the middle, whether it's
No,
politics or the economy or
no,
anything. Like, can we just
no,
meet in the middle?
no, not here.
Okay.
Try the Czech Republic. They might have that.
Yeah,
Or
beautiful women there, Adam.
okay. Paraguay, Uruguay, these places might have that. But no, it's literally a very different animal. Now, yes, we are getting to put our best skills to use. Finding needs filling needs, getting unique transactions done, figuring out how to work debt service ratio, figuring how to work ITIN, figuring out how to work self-employed, calculating income in unique manners. All of these different things that are really what our skill set lends to when it comes to being long mortgage originators, right? Decades long mortgage originator careers. But I'm not going to lie to all of you out there, you know this, and Kevin's about to smack himself on the forehead and attest. We're probably working in triplicate. If we were getting every transaction's like working on 3. If we were actually
Definitely
getting
double, some are quadruple, some are
okay,
triple.
okay, but if we were getting paid commensurate to the amount of work we were putting in, we'd have retired by now.
I'd still be doing amazing like 2021 with less clients to work with, but we're
Right.
not. We're getting paid
No.
less, at least on average. I feel like it's a race to the bottom as far as, pricing and people just giving away the farm to try to get a deal. And it's been a lot different than any market I've been in, at least in Florida. This,
Well, you get what you pay for,
yeah, and they usually call me
as the
back later
consumer
and it's
goes.
all
Right.
effed up. But
Right.
at that point, then I have more stress because I got to close it quick and then I have to
And
calm
clean it
everybody
up.
down. I'm doing that on a USDA manual underwrite right now. Just got the clear. It's off for USDA 601 manual underwrite. Sellers are threatening not to extend, and I'm coming in late. Got it done. We're just waiting on USDA final approval, which we should have today. So when I say I'm doing funky loans, like I never
That's a
did a
funky loan.
USDA manual underwrite
Man,
before. Like
we had a guest on the show recently, a real estate agent in California who has found a killer niche in mobile and manufactured. In the LA area, these are still $700,000 houses, right? And nobody wants to do them, so he's doing them. See a need, fill a need. So yeah, I mean, it's probably half of the average purchase price in California in the LA area, but still, not too ugly a number there. But I do think that that's a big deal. And I think it's something that we really need to analyze and take a look at from a 10,000 foot view. I would be willing to bet that a third of our mortgage business this year was bailing somebody else out, picking up the pieces of a shattered deal, putting it back together, obviously in a different way, and pushing it across the goal line. God, did I literally just use colloquialisms from 16 different industries right there. So I don't know how I did that, but I literally think a third of our transactions this year were cleaning up somebody else's mess.
yep.
So
I've always cleaned up messes, but I feel like I have like that empty bag all right now, just looking for that dog poo on the ground to pick up for someone else and get it closed. It is probably, I'd say at least 25-30% of the loans I've been closing. Did a non-warrantable on the beach that 4 other lenders couldn't do. There have been nothing but cash closings in it for probably a year. We were able to work around it with one of our investors and got it closed. So but the manpower, the brain power, like it's exhausting. I think that's the
exhausting.
biggest thing right now is I get to show how good I am and creative I can be, but I'm exhausted.
I'll bet.
I am exhausted mentally, and so we'll see how long this market goes. But I'm just going to adapt to whatever the market throws at me and keep on chugging because I got no other skill set, Adam. 21 years of doing this. No one's going to pay me what I get paid to do anything else.
Well, and you're unemployable. You're a
Pretty
walking
much.
HR violation, and you know it. We all are.
100%. Within the
Absolutely.
first day, they'd be like, this guy can't be
Yeah,
here. No way.
you need to go now, please. But before you get us sued, we need you to leave. Yeah, you're not going to see us greeting at Walmart. We're basically unemployable. Anybody who's been in mortgages, real estate for literally any length of time. Look, even if you guys are relatively new to this, and well, we used to talk about how we don't really know any real estate agents anymore that have ever seen a buyer's market. Because, well, when was the last buyer's market? Getting on 20 years ago now. And yeah, real estate, the number of real estate agents that have been in the business more than a couple of decades is pretty thin. Loan originators as well. I mean, the number of people that have, well, how many of us saw the 07, 08 chaos? right? Very few. Yeah. Um, yeah, God, that seems like it had seemed like a distant memory until the last couple of years. And then we have a lot of patterns and parallels as
Even this is
history
so
typically
different
does.
than that. It was
Oh, yeah,
still brought that PTSD to the
absolutely.
forefront of mentally, even the totally different problems, totally different issues why we went into '07 and '08. But this last couple of years, it just like, here we go again, like,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's different.
and this is fascinating stuff. And the timing is really good to have you on the show this week. We're going to have an election tomorrow. I hadn't even
Yes, we
really,
are.
correlated A and B here, but can't tell yet if that has large spread economic implications. I think, if anything, we at least finally stop, and this may not come until the Fed meeting later this month, but I think we finally stop the entire American consumer mentality of let's wait and see. I don't think it really matters who wins, what bills pass. And by the way, people, no matter who you vote for or who you vote against, I guess is kind of the way American politics goes these days. Then um, remember to be kind.
I
You're.
think COVID brought out the crazy in everyone. Like
Oh,
everyone is
absolutely.
like I don't remember like elections, and I get it. Like there's some people in our government on both sides that are dumb as shit and their policies are dumb as shit. And then there's people that people just hate, whatever. But it's like, we got to still wake up the next day and keep working. Like at the end of the day, like, how is this going to change anything for me? Yes, the economic plans will be different. Yes, maybe we'll see higher rates for longer depending on who gets in. But I
Maybe.
still got to get up. I still got to get up and make money for my family and help the families that want to get helped. And so I think everyone should just take a deep breath. Hopefully, the right candidate gets in, whoever that's going to be, and we can see
See,
some stability.
I didn't see the right candidate on my ballot.
I didn't, me neither.
Okay,
They're not there.
they're not there. I think the problem with
No.
that particular role, the one that you're describing, is that anybody smart enough to do that job is too smart to apply for that job.
Yep.
So, yeah, but we'll leave what train wreck American politics is in the rearview mirror here for the time being.
That's for other
Um,
podcasts where they can get all
That's a
political.
whole other podcast. Yeah. But I really do think that a big part of the problem right now with what's going on in real estate, for all of you agents out there, and mortgages as well, for those of you that do a lot of purchase business, or have a, you know, bucket of people that bought a year ago, 2 years ago, that have got to get out of those 6, 7, 8% loans. I think a lot of what will change is that while we're all holding our breath, we're having this let's wait and see kind of attitude. It'll end. We're gonna finish that. That process that we've all been staring down the barrel of for months now will end. Tomorrow is election day, and that's probably another important piece of the puzzle. Go vote, whoever you are. However your system works, whether you mail it in, whether you go in person and you go to the booth and you close the curtain and you pull the big, whatever it is, please go vote. It's one of the most important things you can do as an American. Please go fucking vote. I can't stress that. I don't care who you vote for, just go vote, please. Let's have a significant turnout. Let's make it clear, at least to the world, that Americans do care about their future, one way or
And
the
if
other.
you hate both candidates, just vote for your amendments in your area. There's a bunch of big amendments in Florida this year. So like
Same.
just go do your local stuff and leave the president blank if you really hate both of them. Like I know a lot of people actually do. So it's not just for the presidency. There's like some major amendments in Florida right now this year, Adam. So like
Here too.
definitely recommend it.
Yeah, we all get this book, this Bible of all the things that we can vote on. It's probably the biggest I've ever seen. It took me hours and hours to get through our ballot this year. And a lot of it was amendments, a lot of it was propositions. Amendments are a weird one because not only do you have to make some decision about where you stand on any particular issue, but then you got to put it back into your mind. Well, it's kind of a big deal to amend your state's constitution. And then what if it doesn't work out? You know how hard it is to amend it back? Holy cow. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff to consider. But guys, Kevin's right. You can abstain from any of them that you want. You don't have to fill in the bubble. You don't have to punch your Chad. Oh, that's an old Florida joke. The hanging Chads. That was a
Gore
long time
Bush
ago.
election.
Okay, that's when that was. All right. Wow, that was long ago. That was pre 9/11.
Yeah, it was 2000.
Wow. Okay, so Kevin has done a really good job for all of us today, making sure we feel old as fuck. Appreciate that. Not that I'm not denying that we are. I'm just saying that we don't have to feel like it every minute of
I
every
think
day.
our beards do that for us, Adam, unfortunately.
I'm not gonna lie. Neighbor across the street, love this family. He sees me in the driveway. He's walking out to get the mail, and he said, "Oh, hey, how long have you been wearing a beard?" I'm like, "Longer than you've known me." He said, "Oh, but it's just gray now." Yeah, it is. Thanks.
You're like, thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I saw a photo from a couple of years ago. I'd gone to have dinner with Dave Ryder, who we both know fairly well in Arizona, and I had dinner with him and his wife Rita. They're an amazing couple. David's a great guy, and I have aged horribly in the last 2 years. And yeah, I totally blame the mortgage industry on that. We're just gonna put it there. It's not really true, but that's what I'm gonna claim that it is. So
Sounds like a good excuse to me.
it's absolutely. So, Kevin, what's the takeaway here? Persevere, get up, have a good attitude, keep working hard, left foot, right foot, keep moving forward. Reminiscent of
All you can control is your activity. Like at the end of the day, I'm trying all kinds of new things. Some of it's working, some of it's not. But instead of
okay.
just
Well, hang on.
being sad,
Hit the brakes. What's working?
right now we're doing some real estate stuff, basically showing them a full blueprint. We kind of came up with this on accident because I reached out to my database for a referral to a CPA, and I had so many responses. And then we kind of came up with this game plan to show the realtors how easy it is to use your sphere of influence or your database or your phone to get warm introductions to people that can send you 5, 10, 15 deals a year. And a lot of real estate agents aren't working with CPAs. They're scared to reach out, to do that. They're used to buying leads or social media marketing, and that's it. So we just did our third class on that today. So that's starting to pick up some momentum. Doing a lot of just fun stuff. So I try to educate people on my social media, but I try to make it funny. To me, I'm like,
You are.
I need to laugh or I'm going to cry some days in this business. And so I make funny shit. And I want, if you like that as a real estate agent or a referral partner, I'm real. But I take my job super seriously. I'll run through a brick wall and go fuck up an underwriter if I have to, whatever I got to do to close a loan. But at the same time, we're not dealing with cancer. It's a house. It's important. But so I like to make it a little bit of fun, but because everyone's stressed out when they're buying a house, especially right now for whatever reason. I think they're stressed out in general about life. So I try to bring a little levity to it, a little lightheartedness, but at the same time, they need to know that I will run through a brick wall for them when I need to.
We know you will. And I think there are
I
some
think just
important
being you. If you're a real estate agent or a lender and you're watching this, just be you. Figure out what
authentic,
resonates.
transparent.
Yep.
We covered constant and consistent. Those of us that have been around forever will probably remember Greg Frost, one of my early mentors way back then. I know Greg's doing better now than when he was here. But he once told me there's no such thing as a mortgage emergency. Nobody's going to die. That doesn't get you off the hook of having to run through the brick walls. But yes, guys, take good care of the things that you can control. There's some real serenity prayer shit in there, right? Focus on the things you can't control. Let go of the ones you can't. And yeah, attitude, work, constancy, consistency. We talk about these all the time. And yeah, be ready to go through the brick wall, I guess.
And if you find a niche you love that you're passionate about, go all in on it. You still doesn't mean you won't get the other referrals, but if you have something that you can truly be an expert in, find that aspect of mortgages because there's so many different types and programs. become that expert in your area where if that comes up, they're always going to call you. And then that's your foot in the door to ask for the other business as you build that relationship. But like, go all in on something. I know several of my friends that have done that. They've built big books of business off being like the renovation person or the CP person or the Heckham person. Again, they're not saying no to all the other loans. They're just saying, this is, I know everything about this. So they come to them for any type of question in regards to that type of loan program. And that allows you to build a relationship and obviously try to earn the rest of their business. So you got to have something to lead with, because there's a lot of lenders that just, oh, coffee, let's have coffee, let's have coffee.
Oh
But
my
what
God.
value are they bringing the realtor? I try to lead with value and let them see that I'm a legit person. A lot of times I just, when I add them on social media, I just want them to see the farm, see my funny videos, like see Kevin as a person before I start trying to hit him up for business. Like that's down the road. Like,
Well, and this is one that we have preached for years, probably even pre-pandemic, because of the nature of all these things that you're describing, like social media and video, and all of these ways that we have to really put ourselves out there in view of the public, whatever you define as the public, your real estate agent audience, or your referral partner audience, or your client audience, or whatever it is. The bottom line, guys, and I know we're going to run, we have run over. We'll try to wrap this up, I promise. The bottom line here, guys, is that people in your audience already know what you do. It's not a secret. If you know Kevin does fucking mortgages. That's it. You already know this. What people want to know is who Kevin is. We already know what Kevin does. Focus on that. There's no reason for you guys to be telling your audience that you're in real estate, that you're in mortgages, that you're in insurance, that you're a financial planner. We know. People want to know who you are, not what you do. They
we
want
want
to
to see
know.
your reality show. I want the reality show behind the
Seriously.
job.
Well, and we want to
I'll,
connect on a real level.
yes.
And we can't do that with those of you that are doing nothing but what you do. We know what you do. Focus on the who you are. I promise. Not only is it really cool, if you focus on the who you are, you get this audience attraction. People that like you, that think like you, that are into the things that you're into. Hey, man, if you're a pig owner, get your mortgage from Kevin. That's it. It's really that kind of bond, that kind of connection. But even better, and we talk about this a bunch too, is that you're going to organically repel the people that you don't like because they don't like you. You won't even know. It's really cool. Jen and I have always kind of used the term "the trash takes itself out."
Great
Which,
line.
yeah, right. But if you are authentic and transparent, and you focus on the who you are, not the what you do, the people that don't like you, that don't think like you, that aren't into the things that you're into, will be organically repelled, and you'll never even know. They're just gonna go away.
And let me tell you a quick story. I know we're wrapping up, but because this is relevant to what we just discussed, I had a real estate agent call me a couple months ago. We'd never talked. I don't know how we became friends on Facebook. I probably met him somewhere for 2 seconds, or I don't know. But been following me for years. Never called me. No idea who he was. He's like, Kevin, I've been watching you. You're the coolest motherfucker for mortgages out there. He goes, I've never sent you business, but can you do my $700,000 purchase? I said, of course I can.
Of course I
And
can.
and then
I'd
we
be
got to
happy
know each other
to.
a lot more during the process. But he literally said, you are my guy. We've never talked. You've never done business with me, but I'm trusting my personal transaction with you because of who you are. You're transparent. You're, no BS on social media, good or bad, whether you like me or not, it doesn't matter. But I am who I am. And I show that to people. And I got a beautiful loan, super clean, that I would have never had if I wasn't just being real.
I think it was Ben Lavender, another fantastic colleague of ours in New York, who said being authentic on social media is like the greatest drip campaign you can have.
It's true.
Right? That
I wish
absolutely
we all had.
stunning stuff.
I am jealous of Ben's accent. That gets him some mortgages, right? Like that British
And
accent.
I think it's more than just mortgages.
Yeah, a lot
All
more
right.
than that.
Just throwing that out there. Yes, we all know Ben is a sexy mother. He is a god, and yes, he will always be our favorite British mortgage broker. No question. And if you are looking for a mortgage in New York, track him down because Ben Lavender is a god that way. And obviously, if you're looking for a mortgage in Florida, check out Kevin Boudreaux. And if you need something in Colorado, I'd be happy to help anybody out. Although, yeah, I would prefer to spend my time doing stuff like this. This has been great. Thanks, Kev.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I know it's hard to carve this kind of time out. And obviously, our days are not all sunshine and lollipops right now. So it is a very big deal, but I love you if you're doing it. We'll get you on the books for another episode, I promise.
It sounds good. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Cool. All right. And for the rest of you watching or listening live or in syndication, you can catch episodes of How I Met Your Mortgage video cast or live video cast Mondays at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And a mere 48 hours later, that will be up as our podcast on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. And for all things related to Just the Tips, if you want to see more of these, if you want to subscribe to the weekly little tip, if you want a copy of my books, whatever, go check out justthetipscoaching.com.
Just a little tip.
Yeah, the weekly little tip, dude.
Just a little tip.
You didn't know that? You didn't? Oh, dude,
No.
I've been doing that video blog for like 15 years.
I knew you did just the tips,
Literally.
but not just a little tip.
The weekly little tip. Yeah, okay. So now we're rocking and rolling. All right, for the rest of you, Kevin's having a ball. Thank you guys for checking us out this week. Kevin, love it. Don't go too far. I'm going to run our extra, and then I want to have just a minute of your time before you're out of my life for the next year. Teardrop.